So today I just wanted to spend some time to go over this new pickup of mine, the Guidi 788Z. Yeah, so it's a leather boot made out of a very nice grained horse leather. They feature a zipper on the back. I would say it's a very classic silhouette. People normally try to stray between the 788 and the 988. Personally, I went for the 788 because they're known to be a little bit wider. And also kind of just, I don't know, I liked the look more. The 988 is more of a skinny boot and kind of, I don't know, I just gravitated more towards these. So, yeah. I did pick them off of Essence for around 30% off. I'm based in Canada, so that's around $1,200 Canadian. I would say it's a pretty good deal. I mean, a lot of people say you're a sucker if you buy designer firsthand, but honestly, it doesn't really matter that much. So yeah, these are completely fresh out of the box. Normally people would install plates down here. I haven't got around to doing that yet. So on the left boot, you'll actually find the Sura logo. The box that they originally came in features the brand name, features the logo of the brand, and features some of the details with a little bit of like a, I don't really know what you would call that, maybe like a wire silhouette. And of course I bought them from Essence, so this part, you know, it's just kind of the standard Essence detailing. A lot of people talk about how they don't really like the minimalism of the box that they come in. They say it, you know, it looks cheap, whatever. I think if you're willing to spend $1,200 on a boot, you know, although these may be practical, you know, they're very nice. Like, kind of be honest with yourself. You're buying them for the image. You're not buying them because they're practical, because they're durable. You know, those are of course add-ons, but you're mainly buying them for the image. And when you get a very minimal kind of boot like this, I think it's very fitting that they come in a minimal box. Inside the box is, you know, kind of this pamphlet, you know, follow the Guidi community, Instagram, that kind of thing. And there are care instructions inside this tiny envelope here. You know, kind of just goes over some of the details about the material. I don't know if you can really see that. But yeah, it's just very general details about the material, kind of how to care for it. Very general stuff. So also in the box comes these Vibram Guidi fish scale sole protectors. I'm not sure if they're called sole protectors or rubber soles. I've heard people use both terms. Honestly, I don't think it matters that much what you call them. But, you know, you take these to a cobbler, you get them installed on the bottom of the boot. They add traction and they also help increase the durability a little bit, because these boots are a stacked leather, meaning, you know, you just take layers of leather and you stack them on top of each other. And although that's a very traditional way of making boots, it doesn't really fare super well with moisture, stuff like that, and it doesn't give you the best traction, right? Very common. This tote bag also comes in the box. I know a lot of people have shown it off. You know, it kind of has the Guidi logo, G-U-I-D, in a square. I don't know if you can really see that. The flap is on the inside, so a lot of people complain that you can't really flex it or show it off. To be honest, that's not really too much of a concern. I have found a different use for it though. When I transport my boots in the bag, I like to use it to cover up the boots, just, you know, minimize anything coming in the bag, going out of the bag. Maybe a bit of an OCD thing. But so more about the boots. Like I said, they are in a grained horse-skin leather, and you can already kind of see there's a bit of this folding going on here, which is something I really like about the boot. Normally I don't really know what you would call this, like the stack is it's angled backwards, right? And so when you wear them and you angle them forwards, this creasing, this folding here will be a lot more exaggerated. I really like that about the boots. I find it's maybe not very unique, but I really like the look, and I like kind of this, you know, this leather kind of has its own luster to it, and I really like the effect that those two things play together. The stitching and the seam work on these boots is very good. You have a double stitch back here, also a double stitch going around here as well. I don't know if you can really see that. I know some Guidis, what they will do is they'll take two pieces of leather and stitch them together, especially for kind of the main body shape. It's a bit hard to tell here, so I'm not too sure myself, but it does look like one solid piece of leather. I know for the 788Z, it is typically it's one piece of a more thicker leather, so that would, that would make sense why it's one piece of leather. Features this zipper back here, once again with the Guidi kind of square logo. It's of course the YKK XL zip. I can't really show it, but the XL zip is supposed to be the top of the top for YKK zippers, but a lot of people have complained about them breaking. However, I have seen some people say if you just take care of them, they'll be fine. Like I said, these are fresh out of the box, so I don't really have any experience with that yet. I will say though, fresh out of the box, they're a little bit hard to zip and unzip, but like any good boot, it just takes some time to break in. So I'm thinking, the more I wear it, kind of the zipper will be easier to use, it'll be more comfortable, stuff like that. So anyways, these boots are object dyed, and what that means is once they're done assembling them, they'll dye it all as one piece, and what that does is it gives it this very kind of unique finish. And it will also age very unique, right? Like no two Guidis age the same. But also there's a lot of nice kind of detailing. There's a lot of imperfection. You can kind of see, the grain, kind of some scuffs, the veins kind of going throughout the leather, which is another thing I really like. It's very kind of unique about the boots. Now the leather does have a very luxurious plush feel, which is another big thing I like. Touching on earlier, the 788Z is a very iconic kind of Guidi silhouette. Like I said, there's two main ones for this kind of silhouette, which is the 788Z and the 988Z. To be completely honest, I'm not too sure the naming difference means, but I know that the 988Z is typically a lot slimmer, so that means kind of this width here would be a lot slimmer for a 988Z. However, I do have a wide foot. You can probably tell these boots are very large. I got them in a size 47. Typically for other boots like Rick Owens, I've gotten a size 46. However, I do have a larger instep, and I read online, Guidi kind of sizes a bit small, so you want to size up. And especially with their zipper boots, the instep is a very big issue that a lot of people have to deal with. So, figured might as well size up. No real harm. I mean, they fit pretty well, so I'm not complaining. Guidi, of course, is known originally as a leather tannery that specialized in vegetable tanning. But now, of course, they make boots, they make accessories, stuff like that. But however, when you buy a piece from them, it's really that you're buying the leather, right? They have like centuries of experience dyeing leather, so you're really buying it for the history of that leather, not so much the silhouette. I mean, the silhouette is nice, don't get me wrong, but the strongest part of the Guidi identity is really the history of being a tannery. So like I said, I got a size 47 for these, and they fit me pretty comparable to my Rick Owen Bozo Beetle boots, which are a size 46. In both of them, I actually have maybe half an inch of toe room in the toe box, which is fine in my opinion. These are of course wide again. Mainly when I buy shoes, they're more for the width. So maybe, again, if that maybe pertains to you, I would recommend sizing up as well. Yeah, I guess I can compare these directly to each other. So these boots, the Rick Owens, they come in a more of a calfskin leather, so as you can see, they're a lot more polished. I'm not sure if these are buffed. I know the Guidis are not buffed, but you can see these are a lot more shiny, but they don't really have that same, they don't really have that same kind of feel to them. Maybe if I did a direct comparison, it would work better. Yeah, you can't really see it on here, but the grains are a lot smaller on the Guidi, and the color's overall kind of just a bit darker. The luster's a bit darker, a bit smokier, whereas this is very shiny. But I have also had these boots for around a year. You can see a bit of folding going on here as well, which is pretty nice. Overall, I would say if your perspective on getting a pair of Guidis, I would definitely get them. You know, you could get them because they hold value, kind of whatever, but I would just get them as they're very comfortable in my opinion. They're kind of more of a low-key kind of shoe, so they go well with a lot of things. You don't really have to do anything, you know, fancy. You can dress them up, you can dress them down. They'll look good either way. They're just a very staple kind of piece, but they also have that, you know, that unique history and that very unique silhouette.